Okay. Hello. I think that this is working. If it's not working, let me know. Or if it is working, actually, if this is working, let me know. If you can hear me, if you can see me, let me know. Everything looks good on my end. It's always a little stressful setting up a live stream. So I want to talk about this. Is just going to be an hour long, and it'll be posted later about how I make engaging content, whether it's content just for print, whether it's videos. I think that unfortunately, our role as educators has now got this new element to it. I think we need to start to think about ourselves as content creators if we're going to be teaching in any sort of blended learning environment or remote learning environment. We need to be able to make our own things using our own educational voice with our own educational philosophy. And these things need to be of high quality, or as high enough quality so that your students will be able to have a good experience when learning, because that's what it's all about. Thank you, Mike, for telling me that it works. Cool. Hi, Mike. So what I want to walk through is like my approach to creating these things, and I'll be using Mac. It's what I have, and we'll be using free software in Mac. So when I am developing either like worksheets or videos, my main tool is probably not the tool that the pros use. I've never taken a design class. I've never taken a video editing class. It's just I've been making videos and creating worksheets and stuff for about 6 years. And I'm using Keynote, which is available for free by Apple. It's similar to PowerPoint. I'm sure you can do the things that I'm going to do with PowerPoint, but I'm going to show you how to do my method with Keynote. Let's get a couple housekeeping things set first. I will be checking maybe every 15 minutes. I'll check my chat window if anybody has any questions. So if you have any questions while I'm talking, you can write them down. And because of the latency issue with me reading questions and them not pertaining to what just happened, them pertaining to what happened like 15 seconds ago, I think that'll just keep it altogether. Some of the stuff might seem a little heady. Some of the stuff might be over your head. That's fine. Ask questions. I'm going to show you what I do, and sometimes I might work a little fast. Sometimes I might be slow. Sometimes you might have a way that works way better than my way, and let me know in the chat or in the comments, because I want to know. So let's start off with just some basic design principles. So I do have a friend that's a designer, and she helped me hi Amanda, if you're watching. She helped design like the Shed logo and the original typeface and everything. And she had me try what real designers use, which is Adobe InDesign. And if you're familiar with any Adobe products, they're pretty thick. You really need to know what's going on with it's not as user-friendly as it could be. Once you know what's going on, it's great. But I could do 95% of what you can do in InDesign with Keynote, and you could do way more. So the first thing I want to do is just walk you through maybe creating a simple worksheet, just doing some layout things, some tricks and tips that I found that help a lot with creating something that looks good. So let's get into Keynote here. All right, so this is definitely not Keynote, but this is Keynote. So this is Keynote on the newest version of the Mac operating system. This is Catalina. This is what it looks like. So I'm just going to create an empty presentation here, and then I'll make it full screen. And again, there's probably ways to do this on PowerPoint. They're probably very similar. This is just how I do. Okay, so the first things first, if you're going to try to create a worksheet, maybe this isn't the aspect you want. Sometimes I do create worksheets that are widescreen, but most of the time I'm creating worksheets that are in portrait orientation. So to change that, you're going to go to Document, there's Document, and then you're going to go to Slide Size. custom slide size. All right, so we're at 1920 by 1080. That's the size of a HD widescreen video. But we want 768 by 1024. That is pretty much a piece of paper. Okay, so now we have our piece of paper. I know that you can do this stuff in Pages, which is like the Word version for Mac, but I think that the flexibility that you get using Keynote is really important for me. So let's dig in here. Let's talk about some very important tips that might help you. The first is rulers and guides. So if you go to View, you want to show rulers, and you see my rulers. You see, whoa, that's really small. I don't want that small. You see the rulers up here, and these are in inches. And what a guide is, a guide, you've probably seen this. You've probably seen this, like, let me create some objects. You've probably seen that, like that kind of thing, where the program is figuring out where things line up to the center. It's really helpful if you're using objects from the program, but sometimes you want them to snap to a different like orientation, or if you're using an object that's not from the program, sometimes it might snap it incorrectly. So guides really help with that. So the first thing that you need to do is to go to Preferences, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here. I'm gonna go to Rulers, and place origin and center of ruler, show size, show grid, place origin and center of ruler, show size. Sorry, this is my wife's computers, and then she has a different version of this. So I think we're good here. Yeah, we're good. We're all good. We'll see if it works. So now what happens is if you just click inside of the ruler and you drag down, you have a guide. And now I can line things up. Things automatically snap to that guide. So if I wanted these two text bars together, and if I don't want it to be auto done by the program, now they're just going to snap to this line. It's really, 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 really helpful. So if you are creating like a document or a video where you're going to need the same guides in multiple pages or in multiple like slides of a video, then you need to create what's called a master guide. So if you click anywhere in just the open field here and you go to Format, you have this Edit Master Slide button. So this master slide is what shows up in behind any of the slides. So let's say I wanted, so let me get out of here. Let's say I really like where this word text is, right? And I want to use the orientation of this on a bunch of different slides. And I want it to be the same. And I want it to be easy for me to replicate. So I'm going to, oh, if you want to get rid of a guide, by the way, this is really cute. You drag it over here, and then you unclick, and it goes, whoosh, awesome. So let's say I want it here. I'm actually going to copy this, Command C, and now I'm going to go to the master slide. I'm going to paste it in. I'm going to get rid of this guide. Go away, guide. Go away. Okay. So now I want to create a guide. Let's say I want it to be under there. I'm going to go done. So now I've saved it to my master slide. If you go to View, you can click on Guides and then Show Master Guides. Now it's showing everything that's on the master slide. So it could be helpful. Like when I'm creating a document, I'm drawing all my margins. And then once you get a style, once you like find something that works, you test it out, people like tell you, yeah, it looks good. You give it to students say, yeah, it looks good. I save that as a template. Like I save where my guides are as a template. So I'll just make like, I'll do this in the master slide. Get rid of this, saved it there. Let me just make like a worksheet looking thing. So maybe we want a little bit of padding at the top. Maybe that's our title. Kind of want to give yourself some padding on the left, give yourself some padding on the right. Space, this is something that my wife taught me. My wife isn't like a certified graphic designer, but she has a really, really, really good eye for design. And my tendency is to cram a bunch of information in as tight of a spot as possible. But it's all about the end user experience, and it's all about students being able to read and understand the content concisely. So you want to adjust and leave more space than you'd think. So let's say that's a nice title. These are kind of even, and that looks good to me. Let's talk about typeface and size and weight of font. When you're designing something, and I have no idea, I'm sure there's like an actual rule to this or something. If you're a designer, please let me know. But if you're designing something and you're thinking about the end user, you want to use as little stuff, as little explanation as possible to say the most. So if you have different sections of a document and you want to delineate those sections, normally you delineate with a different font size or font case or something. You don't necessarily want to use a bunch of different fonts. I see a lot of documents that are created with a bunch of different fonts. The different fonts are used to show different things, but I came up with this on my walk with the kids the other day. Use size and weight to differentiate. So I'm going to stick to one font. I'm going to stick to like a classic, not Helvetica. Sorry, Apple. I know you like Helvetica. The Shed music font is Universe, but don't steal my font. I'm going to go to Arial. I've been using Arial a lot. I've been in like a really Arial mood. Okay, so this is in Arial, right? Now, when I say use size and weight to differentiate, size is the font size. So this is adjusting the font size. It's getting bigger, 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 bigger. And then weight would be whether it's bolded or not. So, I have, did you start the webinar? I did start the webinar. Just got a text message. Somebody just asked me if I started the webinar. It's been started. Okay, so I am going to make this, since it's important, since it's the title, I am going to make it bold. And I am going to make it kind of fit my margin here. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to make it fit this. Automatically snap to my guides. Maybe I'll make it a little bigger so it fits in there nice. And then one thing that I found that really helps keeping things tidy is I always left justify and I bottom justify. So that's in this window right here. That then if everything is always going to be at the bottom left hand, if the point of information is always going to be at the bottom left hand corner, and if that's always the same, that just helps. If it's in the center and then you go to type, then it's gonna type out like this. And then if you had something and you copied it down, like let's say you had let's say you had you wanted the same like a subject here and a subject here, and if it was center justified, and if you wanted to be the same distance away from the margin, and you were to write, hey, now it's all sorts of messed up. So I just keep my I keep left justified and to the bottom. So I'll just say this is my title. Oh my goodness. Title. There we go. And then, if I wanted to do some sort of subheading, maybe I would drop the font size a little bit. Remember, size and weight to differentiate. So now I'm differentiating by changing the size. And this would be like my subheading. And then if I wanted to maybe add in just some regular info, like if these are directions, then I change the weight. I change the weight from bold to regular. And then now, see, everything is just snapping there. It's super easy. It's a little too big. Okay. subheading, and let's say Lauren Ipsum, whatever people have written automatically from the computer thing. Yeah, and then, you just gotta make sure that this is, and then now we have, it looks, everything looks like it lines up. If I remove the guides, here, I'll just, let's see, I'll do this a couple times. Ooh, I'll show you this. This is pretty handy. So I'm gonna group these items. So I right-clicked, group. Now if I copy and paste it, it's gonna copy and paste both of them together. Let's say I had like 3 things like this and I wanted them to be all lined up, but I didn't want to like have to draw guides. It's a pain in the butt. So you can, it has some pretty nifty tools here. So I highlighted all the groups, right click. I'm going to align to the center. Everything got lined up to the center. Now they're all lined up together, but they're not distributed in the same way. So I'm going to go to distribute, and I'm going to distribute them vertically. And now everything is the exact same distance. So if you have a bunch of objects, let's say you have, let's say you're trying to draw a guitar neck, and you want all the lines to be perfect. You could use a table to do that. I've done that in the past. So if I wanted to draw a guitar neck, I could just make a table and then format the table to look like a guitar neck, and that way everything is perfectly spaced. But maybe you want individual parts of the guitar neck to be animated. Table in Keynote, that doesn't work. You need individual objects. So this is how I would do it. So hopefully, that helps. You just have to think about those basic things: size and weight to differentiate. Use the rulers and guides are your friend. And then whenever you're making instructions, if it's possible at all, to trim the fat of whatever you're saying. And then if you can show that in some way with what you write or how you write it with space, then you're winning. If you have 3 sentences to describe one step, and if it's pretty verbose, if your student is reading that, they're going to check out. Now, if it's 1 sentence and then you put it in a spot specific to, that'll help with formatting, then let me just show one instance of that. Go to shadowme.com. This is just a sample page. Maybe. Yeah, sample page. Okay, so let's look at this. Did you know there's professional development? I did. No, that's not 2.4. Let's look at this one. Okay. Let's look at this organizer. This is not the one. This isn't the one. I should know what I'm doing before I do it. I feel so, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Here we go. Perfect. Let's look at this organizer. So I have the wrong organizer. Should fire whoever is doing this, because there has to be a good one. Let's do 4.4. That has to be something. Okay. Nope. Wrong one. Yes, this one. Okay. Yay! All right. I'm so happy I found it. I'm sure you're happy too. So, like, this is obviously a table that I made, but it was almost impossible, and I had to test this. I test these things with students to get feedback, to change things, and then after a while, you kind of get used to, what your students understand and visually. So to have the bass rhythm line up with the counts here, I used to have this together in one grid, and then kids just didn't understand it, and I had a bunch of directions, and they still didn't understand it. And then what I did was I separated it, but then they still didn't understand it. So then I separated it, and I made this line a heavier weight, and it just worked. Kids got it. I didn't have to have it in directions. They saw that, the subdivision here lined up with the bass part, and it just worked. So sometimes it's trial and error and error and error and error until it works. But sometimes, and for the most part, I'm always just like testing these with my students. Let students know, hey, I'm working on this. Can you let me know if this works? And then if you have like a transparency with your students about like, hey, I'm going to try these things. Can you tell me if these work? They're normally really, they're your harshest critics. So that's basically like how I'd make something like this. Like this is a worksheet. And you can tell that the guides and the rulers were here and that these things were spaced evenly. Um, and I've created like a style. So if I go to any of these other um, projects, you see that the margin is pretty much the exact same. And it's a lot of copying and pasting projects. Like I'll copy one Keynote file to create a new one, and then I'll just see how things are organized and just change some things, but I'll keep all of the rulers and the guides in the same spot so that it looks like if you printed it out in a book, you could flip through it and it doesn't look like there's one page that's like, that's kind of weird. That's really weird. So I've created like my own style guide for whatever I'm making. Like I'm using Arial, and I think this might be Impact. I was really into Impact for a couple years. It's a font. Check it out. It's pretty cool. It makes an impact. And then, you could use italics for things, and then, bold and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, that's how I would make a page. And then to get like music notation into something like this, like if you wanted to pull an example, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. I've traditionally used Sibelius because Sibelius allows you to export PNGs. So a PNG, portable network graphic, I think that's what it stands for. I think to save space, it's only the object. There's no background to the object. So the good thing about that is you can put a PNG image on top of a background, on top of something else, and you don't have its background. It's just the important stuff. And unfortunately, I don't have Sibelius on this computer, but I'll show you how to do something similar with like Noteflight, because Noteflight's free. I love Noteflight. So I have a Noteflight score here. I'm just going to write in a rhythm. So I have a rhythm, rhythmy, rhythm, rhythm, rhythm. Look at this rhythm. Ooh, with some syncopation. All right, so I have this rhythm here. Now you could do, on Mac, you could like take a screen grab. Ugh. Okay, now I screen grab that. It is on my Impact, yeah. Now it's in my, it's on my desktop or wherever you tell screen grabs to go. But you can also export this. You can export it as a PDF. But I'm just going to take what I had here. Export as PDF. Sure, now I have two samples. The higher resolution images you work with, the better. If you are putting things on the web, you think about if people are going to pinch zoom on whatever you're creating, whether it's a student or it's another teacher, you don't want it to look pixelated. So let's see if I take this screen grab. Oh goodness, I'm on full screen. I gotta get off full screen. All right, so if I take the screen grab that I just, oh my gosh, this is on full screen too. Okay, if I take this screen grab that I just did, perfect. All right, I bring it into Keynote, just drag and drop, and I zoom in. You see how it's kind of pixelated? It's not like horrible, but it's kind of pixelated. If you zoom out, it's actually fine. So I guess this works. Now the problem is, it's not a PNG image. There's a background to it. So Keynote actually has something that could work. Let's check it out. If you highlight an image, if you go to Image, and you go to Instant Alpha, what Instant Alpha does is you click a color, and it makes it transparent. Let's see how that did. It's pretty awesome. Now it's kind of like a PNG image. So this is something that I've found just works. Now I could, if I change the color of my background, so if it was, white's pretty lame for like videos. If I make it orange, now I have my little graphic and it's orange. It's not within my margins though. But there was some weird artifacts around the numbers, and that's because it's a low resolution image. So I'll just Donezo. Looks better. Okay, so now I'm in my margins. I have my my image there, and it's clean. The mask, so that's instant alpha. Now, if you go to edit mask, it's cropping. So I can crop. This is actually really beneficial if you want to do any sort of animations with notes and you want it to look good. So this is a good opportunity to kind of shift gears and talk a little bit more about video. So if anybody has any questions, you know, I'm looking at the chat. I don't see any questions in the chat. I just see that Mike's funny. It's great that this is built. Yeah, I know it's super great that all this is built in. So like if you were using like Adobe to do this, you would have to be in InDesign, and then you'd have to pop over to Photoshop to get rid of the background. It's just all built in to Keynote. Now, let's shift gears. We are going to, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna cut it. Let's say we want to make this a video. Now, this is definitely not the size we would make things in a video. So now we're making a video. Okay, I have my stuff here, and I have this rhythm. And when I'm making videos, I am sometimes, when all things are right, I have like an idea for something in my head first, and then like I kind of storyboard it, and then like I figure out what the animations are going to be, what this kind of thing is going to be. I do have a second camera. Right now it's set to just like if I was holding a guitar, it's set to there. Sometimes it's set top down. And then when I'm recording my videos, I have a switcher, and I just switch my camera angles on the fly. So I record this thing, and I storyboard what I'm going to say. Sometimes I just improvise it. I take a couple takes, and then I splice things together. Sometimes I really script it out. But then I think about what I need animation-wise. So let's do an experiment. I don't know if it's going to work. I have my hard drive connected to my video switcher. I should be able to, sorry, I joined late. Can you show us how you added the graphics to the bling video you shared with our class? Bling. What's bling? Bling? I'm going to get there, Katie. I'll get there. We haven't gotten to the graphics yet. So we're going to do an experiment. I am storyboarding this idea. I'm working on this rhythm unit for my guitar curriculum, and maybe I want to clap out a rhythm, and I want the rhythm to match what I clap while I clap it. So we're going to use this rhythm. We're going to use 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, so that's the rhythm we're going to use. Sometimes I do this with a backing track. Sometimes I'll make a backing track on like Soundtrap or something. But for the most of the time, to make things easier, I figure out what metronome setting I want it to be at, because this helps with syncing things later. So let's say I want this to be at, I don't know, I want my phone to start. I want it to be at 80, sure. Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to clap that rhythm at about 80. And I would have this going on in my headphones. These are my headphones. You can't see them, but I would have the metronome going on so that when I clap it, 3 and 4, that's not the rhythm. When I clap it, it's at a certain tempo. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I should be able to record this hard drive. I'm going to record me clapping this rhythm, and then I'll show you how I add animations to things and how I add overlays on videos using Keynote and iMovie. Rainbow keyboard. Oh, Rainbow keyboard. Rainbow keyboard is similar to this. I could show you a Rainbow keyboard. Okay. So Rainbow keyboard's hard, but it uses the same principles here. Okay, so I'm recording right now on my little hard drive while I'm doing this live stream. Hopefully it works. So I'm going to clap this rhythm. So check out this really cool rhythm. I love it. And here it is. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so I recorded it. Now I am stopping it. I'm going to unmount my hard drive while it's still turned on. Okay, now turn it on. Plug it into my computer. I don't know if this is going to work. This is an experiment. Okay, it should work. Content webinar. It's me. Awesome. Okay. So this is in QuickTime right now, and there's a few steps that I like to do to make sure that what that's weird. There's a couple things that I do to make sure that what I make is going to be in the frame and it's going to be able to be seen, where it's not going to mess around with the background. So the first step is I take a screenshot of the video that I'm going to overlay on top of. So if I did, like, sometimes I do video overlays over the keyboard, I'll take a screenshot from the video that I made of the keyboard. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. And with Apple, it's super easy. If you're using QuickTime, it's just copy, Command C. Now I have a screenshot. I'm going to go to my master slide, and I'm going to paste me in there. Now I'm in the master slide. It's always in the background. So the principle for this is, now that I know exactly where my head is, pretty much, and I have the framing of the shot on this document. So when I make the video, I know it's going to be in the right spot. So I'm kind of looking around. Maybe it would look good over here. Okay. So there's my image, and there's my rhythm. But can you move over, please? Thank you. Okay. Is it easy to see? It is not easy to see. You could make this white. You'd have to mess with these levels to get it kind of close to white. You can't, like, flip. You can invert in Photoshop, which is pretty cool. You can invert the colors. You can't do it. It's Command I. But what I found is you can add in kind of like I'm just going to add in this object. You can make a box. Let's make it my box here. I don't want to cut off my head. Okay, I'll make the box there. And I am going to adjust the color of the box to be, I don't know, like a gray box. And then I'm going to adjust the opacity. So the opacity is how much you can see through this box. All right, so I'm adjusting the opacity. Okay, so now I have a gray box. It still allows the background to be seen. I'm going to make this image a little smaller. Okay. It looks weird right now, yeah? It looks weird because the box is in front of the notes. So whenever you're starting to add things on top of each other, like let's say here's my image and I'm going to turn it, you have multiple layers of things. And you have to kind of manage your layers, and you right click things and you can send to back. So now I sent this image to back. So I think it makes it a little easier to see that rhythm. Still not that great. Maybe I'll change the color. Maybe I'll make it more, still want that background to bleed through a little bit. If I talk like this and I do things, I mean, my name is Bob, so it's kind of like Bob Ross. All right. Okay. So now I have, now I have that image up there, and I wanted, I had, So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take that, I copied it over, I'm going to put that in the master slide. So now I can't accidentally click and move it. It's just in the background. Sometimes I do all these elaborate things, and then I accidentally click and move something, and it's like, oh my God, that was so bad. So let me show you how to take something like this and animate it. You could. This is the easy way. Like, easy is you can make an arrow that moves or something, or you can highlight it, where you just make something that is like, you could do like this, you know, you can highlight the note and then have the highlight move. But I want to get fancy. I want to be fancy. The more you do this, the quicker you get. This takes I'm taking a long time doing this. This would not take me this long if I was doing it by myself. So we talked a little bit about image mask. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I actually want 7 exact copies of this thing. 7 copies. Okay. And there's probably a real way to do this, but I'm not going to do the real way. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is a mess. So I'm going to do what we did before. I'm going to align objects to the middle, and then I'm going to align objects to the center. And now I have all of my objects, all 7 of them. They're all together. I'm going to move them all. Okay, there's 7 of these here. 7. So I'm going to kind of work backwards. I am going to make all of these images different slices. It's kind of what you do if you're working with audio. You want to take you take your recording for something, make it in a slice so you can recut it later. That's what I'm doing when I'm editing this mask. So I'm going to go to Edit Mask, and this is one of them. I'm going to make that just the just this first note, and then the next one, I am going to add the mask. Oh, that's the first mask. I don't want the first mask. I want the second mask. Add this mask. And I want to make it just this. Okay. Gotta make sure I get that upper thing there. Okay, got it. And now I want another big one, edit mask. I want just that. Okay. And let's keep going. Add a mask. Blah, 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 blah. And it's okay if these things overlap because they're in the exact same location. Add a mask. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, I just pressed instant alpha and said add a mask. You crazy. I'm getting bored at what I'm doing. Grab the last one. This should be the last object. We don't know. All right, so now I have like a bunch of these little things, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a couple ways to do it now. You could either like copy and paste and make multiple slides. So I'll show you that way first. This is nice to do. So you can actually, in this panel right here, it's called the navigator. I'm just gonna copy and paste it, 8 times. First time, I'm not gonna have any of this business. Go away. Second time, I'm only gonna have this. Third time, I'm only gonna have this. Then this. Then this. Then this. Then this. And you got to get just creative with how you do these things. And the last time is, now I could, if I cycle through my slides, what? That's pretty dope, right? Doot, 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 doot. That's one way to do it. So now I'll show you another way. This way is sometimes cooler, sometimes not. Depends on the objects that you're manipulating. So it might be a little weird because of these eighth notes that are broken. But you could do this. So I'll copy this. Remember, this is going to be the last slide. So if we want to get rid of this, which I think we're gonna, this is the last slide. We can get rid of the last slide. You could use the built-in like animations that you would use if you're creating a presentation. You could use them. I'm using what operating system? I'm using Mac. You could tell by the little apple. Yum. Nobody's ever talked about where the other piece of the apple goes. Somebody ate it. Okay, so build-in effect. Let's see, I want it to, I like pop. Where's pop? Pop. That's too slow of a pop. Pop. Nah, too slow of a pop. I want it to be rhythmic. Pop. Yeah, buddy. All right, so that's my first build-in. Second build-in, we'll do another pop. What was my first one? I did 0.2, so this got to be 0.2. I wish they would make it so, well, this isn't an animation program. Maybe if it was an animation program, that looks weird. Then they would make it so you can like set defaults. But you can get creative with this, and it could be anything. Like it could be drums. You can have like drums up here. You can have the drums move. You can animate them however you want. Pop. 0.2. Pop. 0.2. Okay, so now let me press play. Whoa. Whoa, let's do that again. That's pretty cool. Let's look at it one more time. Okay, so that's one way to do it. And then what you can do, so you had all that. Remember, this is our last slide. I'm going to duplicate it and delete this. There's actually no reason why I need to delete that. So if we did it the other way, I kind of actually like the way this looks. But if I wanted that to be like re-articulated, so I have all this here, and I'm going to group, cancel, let's try to edit the master slide. I'm going to group all these objects together. And it's only on this last one. I'm grouping these together. And then I am going to, so once it gets there, I want the things to do something fun. So once I have all this stuff here, I want it to do something fun. So I can go to, if you go to actions. So actions are just things that can occur to an object that isn't building and building out. Okay, thanks KRDP. So I'm just going to make it, I don't know why I'd want to, but I'll make it pulse. That looks cheesy. Okay. Boing, boing. Okay, cool. Remember, this is, as a teacher, I wanted this stuff to get done quick. I know that there are better looking things to use to do this. Because I'm looking at one of these comments, there's other software you can use to sharpen your skills and improve your edits. Yes, this is what I know. This is what I found. I'm really fast at making it. I'm a dad, full-time teacher, making curriculum content. I need to be able to bang these things out like this. So this is what I know. You can use whatever you know, but I'm just sharing what I know. Okay, so now if I go to play this slideshow, let's look at animate here. And you can look at the build order. This is showing like when things occur. I want this to occur automatically. So when I get to this slide, it's going to do its little pop thing. So let's see what it looks like from the beginning. Hey, super cheesy, but whatever. We'll use it. So now I recorded me saying the thing at 80 beats per minute, right? So this is where like it would take a while to animate. You could do this in like Premiere or something using keyframes, and you can make it 100% perfect. It takes a long time. Sometimes I do that. Most of the time, this is what I'm doing. Dig this. So if you go to play, you can record a slideshow. So what it does is it records you hitting the space bar. Like if I hit the space bar at the correct time, it's going to record that, and then I can export that as a video. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to press record. Doop, 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 doop. All right, so now it's recording. And I need to play my rhythm in. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then it does the dumb wiggle. Okay. So now that I have that, what do I do with it? If you're in, if your images don't have a background, with Keynote, you can export them as a file type that will kind of be like a PNG image. There'll be no background, which is great because you can layer it on top of other images. Let me show you how that works. So first we need to get rid of our background. So I'm going to edit the master slide. I'm going to delete me, and I'm going to say no fill for the background. That's important. It needs to be no fill. If there's fill in there, if there's any type of background, this next little trick won't work. So now, oh, and I have this color. Oh, I did it on all of them. That's a bummer. So I highlighted all the slides, and you can change the parameters of everything all at one time if you highlighted them all. Okay, so I highlighted them all. Oh yeah, there's my one that I don't want. Oh, no, we'll just keep it there. Okay, so File, Export to, Movie. You would think, yeah, this is fine. You need to go to Custom. You need the frame size. The frame size for HD is 1920 by 1080. You want to go to Apple ProRes 4.4, and then here's the kicker: export with transparent backgrounds. This was added maybe like a year and a half ago. I used to use green screen for it. I would have the background be green, and then in post, I would have the green be taken out. It'll make it background, but it would make it clear, but sometimes it was just weird. This like changed my life because you can do more than one layer. So now I'm changing it. I'm going to export it. And this is something that I've found. I am a very unorganized person. If you pan this camera to anywhere else in this room besides this, it's just a mess. But when you're making videos like this and you have multiple assets, you have multiple images, multiple videos that you're going to layer on top of each other, a bunch of audio files, it does help to be organized. So I am going to make a folder. This is going to be called Content Webinar. And let's put in, let's put this in here. I'm going to name it. I used to name all my files these weird things, but I'm going to actually name it something that's important. So I'm going to say, this is the rhythm. Why is it so caps? It's like yelling. This is rhythm example. Okay, so now it's there. And let's be consistent with everything here. So I'm going to create a new folder. No. New Finder window. That's what I want. And we're going to put in their content webinar. So I'm going to put that video file there. Now everything's in the right place. Now I'm going to go into iMovie and stitch it all together. I use Adobe Premiere. iMovie works fine. The problem with iMovie is you're limited to the amount of video tracks that you can use. So I don't know how many video tracks you can use, but I've been limited. And I know with Premiere it's kind of unlimited. So if you're going to build like a virtual ensemble or something, I think Premiere is the way to go. So now I'm going to open up iMovie, and I have my content here, and this is the main video. So I'm going to put that in there. Import. No, can you do this? I'm really bad at iMovie. I guess you have to do it this way. That's stupid. But I know where things are because I put them in the right spot. Not enough disk space? Really? Well, this is kind of sad. This is a sad state right now. Let me empty the trash. Empty. Okay. Let's see if this works. Maybe that's why it didn't allow me to pull it over. Not enough disk space. Oh my gosh. So now we're going to go through and we're going to clean my wife's computer. That's fun. I don't even know how to do that about this Mac. Storage. Man, 64. I have a lot of disk space. 64 gigabytes available. iMovie, you're crazy. Do I have to like create a new movie or something? Oh, this is so frustrating. I really want this to work really well. I should have tested it, or I should have used a different computer. I'm gonna restart iMovie, and I'm gonna pretend like it's all working, and then you're gonna forget that little glitch of what just happened, and it's all gonna be really cool. And when it comes together, we're all gonna have a party, and the party is gonna have donuts. Damn it! And the donuts are going to be decorated. Project media, is that where I need to be? Oh my god, I just moved it somewhere else. You freaking do what I want you to do. You are a piece of garbage. What do you mean? Okay. Well, does this have Premiere on it? Please tell me this says Premiere on it. No, no Premiere. Can't show it to you at all. Let's try this. I am going to move these all to my other hard drive, and maybe that'll work somehow. Content webinar. It's probably really fun for the people who are watching. Sorry for the people who are watching. Let's move it to my hard drive. Okay, now they're here. Content webinar. Please put it in here. Let's just go in. Enough disk space available with the select destination. Please select another one and clear out some space. All right. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to restart my computer. While we restart it, I'm going to talk about some things. And things are going to resolve. Always save. Always save. This would be rhythm example. Cool. While it's restarting, we will... whatever. Leave. Okay. While we're restarting. Hi. How are you doing? Okay. Still not restarting. There's something going on, which might be why it thinks that there's not enough room on my computer. Restart. Done. Press done. Try again. Now it's restarting. Okay, so let's talk about this, what I have going on here, my streaming setup. I think that, I don't know how many or how long it would take to get, but I'm using a video switcher that has a built-in streaming encoder. Hello. Microphone was routed to my computer. It's cool. So I'm using a piece of hardware that is by Blackmagic. It's called the Blackmagic ATEM Pro. ATEM Mini Pro. It's dope. It's really cool. If this doesn't work, what I'll do is I'll take a recording of it working on Premiere on my computer and I'll post it in here. Let's see if it works. It's pretty slick. What you're able to do... now I'm back on my computer. I'll switch back to my computer. I have a Keith McMillan new foot switch thing that Michael suggested. Oh my god, what do you mean there's so much storage space? You piece of garbage. I'm sure it's something that I'm overlooking. But it does say I have lots of space. So what happens is you have the two videos, and you're able to pretty seamlessly like layer the other one on top, and then when it plays, it lines up, and you see the animations, and it looks really cool. Especially when it works. It looks extra cool when it works. But we can look at the files themselves. So let's look at the files themselves. This is what the example looks like if I was just to play the video. All right, so now it's recording. And I need to... this video has no background. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then, so what happens is that would be on top of the video of, me. and it's like perfect and it looks really cool. I'm sure there's just a silly setting right now that I'm missing on iMovie, and this is why I don't use iMovie, because do I need to make a new project? Is it really because I didn't make a project? Oh my god, it's because I didn't make a project. What a lovely thing. No, there's not enough disk space. Where are you looking? Are you okay? Well, I'll check one thing and then Ken Burns. Oh, don't do this, Ken Burns. Oh my gosh. Delete render files. Delete them. Maybe that's what's going on here. Yeah, this is so silly. So silly. So silly. So very silly. I'll just post a video of me doing it. It looks really cool. It could be. There's a bug. Bugs happen. Yeah, it works. It'll look really cool when it's done, I promise. So that's kind of what I wanted to show you, is how they layer on top of each other. But it's simple. You just put the two files on top of each other. The one thing you do need to do is you need to unlink the audio from the overlay image. So if you created the overlay image, like if you created this video file, and if you had this 1 and 2 and on top of like what you wanted it to sound like. No, I want this. Oh, no. I want this. Same thing. I love you. Go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Just imagine how cool that would be. I don't want me saying it twice, you know. And then what you could do is you could, okay, I did it at 80 beats per minute. You could record a groove on like Soundtrap or something, like. I don't know why it sounded like corn for a second there. Then you could put that and layer that on top of iMovie too, which is something that I was going to do, but I can't, I guess, because this is silly. Is it silly? Hold on. My brain is thinking. My brain is done thinking, and I'll just show it to you on my other computer. Why not? Eject this. Eject your media. Media is ejected. Okay. Give me a second. How many computers can I stack on top of each other? Answer is 3. I can stack 3 computers on top of each other. Hey. All right. It's going to be really strange. Okay. Can you see? Hey, this is a different computer. You can still hear me. You're not going to be able to hear the computer, which is a bummer. But I'll turn the speakers up. You'll be able to hear the speakers. Let's go through HDMI. Internal speakers. Not my living room. That'll be super confusing. Okay, so this is my other computer. This is the one that's doing the switching. And this is the switcher. Been on air for 1 hour and 3 minutes. It's pretty cool. And then I have this program, which is mapped to my MIDI foot switch. And it runs these Apple scripts. And that allows me to switch with my feet. Anyway. All right, so Premiere. New project. This one is going to be called Webinar. Okay. Cool. So, now on this, I have this folder, Content Webinar. See how important it is to have everything labeled? That's why it's important. Oh, now every time I switch, angles, I'll just do it with my hands from now on. Okay, so I want this Content Webinar. Just pull it in there. I know this is going to work because it's Adobe, but it's going to work the exact same way that would work with iMovie. And then here's my example. Zoom out here. Okay, so I want this to sync up. So what I do is I kind of look at the waveforms. First, I find when this rhythm starts. So I'm going frame by frame until I get to my first rhythm. And then I'm actually going to trim it there. I'll make this big. All right, so I trimmed it there. That's the beginning of the rhythm. Now I'm going to listen to hear when I start counting and clapping it. Here it is. Ready? 1, go. 2, So I hear my clap there, and I'm going to line this up with my clap. And now I know that when I clap, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Perfect. Now I'm going to get rid of the audio here, unlink, and I'm going to delete. And then I'm just going to pull that out a little bit. So it depends on when you want this overlay thing to this gray. But now, turn it up, and I'll make this a little bigger. Make bigger. I'm sure there's a way I could just make it its own thing, couldn't I? It's its own thing now. Okay, you ready? It's beautiful. I love it. And here it is. Ready, go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so I recorded it. And that's the basis for how I do these kind of things. I'm thinking about layers. You could add music behind that. You could use another Keynote thing to create another layer in another spots. Like that, one of my videos had like 5 different Keynote layers going on at the same time. So somebody was asking me about the, yeah, this actually works really well. Somebody was asking me about the keyboard that I had. So let's go to, we're gonna have to go to melody. I'll just search melody. Whoa, that's not melody, that's melody projects. So these are all of the assets in one project. It's pretty crazy. For the keyboard, to make the keyboard light up, what I did is I had to go into Keynote and create images. Each one of these is a PNG image of one note. And then what I did in Premiere is I stitched it all together. So let's look at the final thing. So like, okay, yeah, I took this image, put it into Keynote, and then I sunk up all these images of the notes. It's not a simple thing. I had to go through, and it took a very long time to, I actually had to, I didn't animate it in Keynote. I put all the images in Premiere, and I sunk it up perfectly using keyframes. And that top thing in here, this is all done in Keynote. This is about 100 slides.
And record our melody. But to go right to the page
Go.
times.
Yeah.
Just to get the
Each
sound
one
in
of
my
these
head.
is a different slide.
I'm gonna start on this note.
This is a different layer on top of it. Then all of these bars I actually have drawn in Premiere. They're different little mats, and I've said when the image starts, when it ends, how big it has to be, and it automatically draws it. But that's crazy. You don't need to do that. So the takeaway is, if your iMovie works, it's easy to develop good-looking content using the free things that are available on Mac. So thank you, awesome people, for coming out and checking this out, all 5 to 7 of you. This is my process, and I'm always changing my process. So if Mr. KRDP, if you want to message me with what you think would help me, I would love to look at it. But I'm going to go back and record some more videos for my curriculum now.